Hello, everyone. We're back for week 2 or episode 2 because we didn't get one done last week. I was sick, and we've all had commitments last week due to school.
But in reality, it's week 11.
Week 11?
Week 11, episode 2.
Yes. College football. Last week wasn't really much of an eventful week in college football. Nothing much really happened. Let me see. Front paper. Last week, Georgia Southern and Appalachian State. That was one of the few big games last week due to the fact that Appalachian State was undefeated, and they were ranked 20, and Georgia Southern came in and ran all over them because they did not pass at all. 1 for 4 passing and 16 yards for Shia Wirtz. I mean, that is not a stat you want to have as a quarterback, but they ended up having 56 carries overall, 335 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Yeah, their quarterback obviously had the running yards there, too. He had 16 carries, something like that.
16?
And so did the running back. And Appalachian State, Appalachian State was able to get a whole bunch of passing yards in, but they only got 3 touchdowns, and Georgia Southern came up with a field goal to win the game.
The kicker did his job. See what happens when your kicker does his job?
At Chicago Bears.
Next up, we've got another game last week, Georgia and Florida. That was obviously a big game due to the fact that they were both really high-ranked teams.
Big game. Kind of surprised at the outcome. Thought Georgia was going to lose.
I thought Georgia was going to lose, too.
I had faith in Georgia.
I thought they were going to lose. They lost to South Carolina. Have not been looking the greatest.
I had faith in
this
Georgia.
season.
I'll just say that.
And since that loss.
Both quarterbacks had over 250 yards. Kyle Trask and Jake Fromm both had 2 touchdowns. They were working their job that week.
Just saying, Jake Fromm never won a game over 30 passing yards.
Still hasn't won a game. He's 0 for 5 will throw more than 30 passes. He
threw
30
exactly.
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 Against Florida.
20 for 30 or something
Kirby
like that.
Smart was probably thinking, got 30, kind of pulling.
Next up, SMU and Memphis, last week's college game day game. Obviously a big game because both teams, Memphis wasn't undefeated, but SMU was. SMU was ranked 15 going in. And
wait, wasn't Memphis projected to win all their games this year?
They were, yes. But then
they lost to Tulane.
It was Tulane.
No, it was Tulane.
It was Temple.
No, it was Tulane.
It was Temple.
All right,
It
let's
was
check
Tulane.
this. Memphis.
I will bet you $5.
$5, guys. $5. Right?
$5?
We're going to shake on it?
Give me a second.
$5.
I got
Temple.
10 in my pocket.
$5 Temple.
Tulane.
Right. It was Temple.
No way.
That's-
It was Temple? I thought it was Tulane.
Yeah, they beat Tulane.
Wait, did they beat Tulane?
They beat Tulane
They
47
beat Tulane the next
17.
week. I got 10 in my pocket. You got 2 5s?
I don't want your charities.
Okay.
I know what I'm talking about. Go Owls, baby.
All right, well, that was obviously a really high-scoring game. 54-48.
Wait.
Shane Buechele threw for 456 yards and 3 touchdowns. Man's a
stud.
beast. But they ended up losing.
I'd just like to point out this is the first year SMU's been ranked since the 80s.
Yeah, because they got the death penalty. Yeah. They got the death penalty.
Their program went down the drain.
Brady White threw for 350 yards, 3 touchdowns. Who was it that one of Memphis's players just went crazy? I can't recall.
Was that a
his
running
name.
back?
Yeah.
It was a running back. I just don't know his name.
No, it was Coxey.
It is. So.
All right, well,
Yeah, that guy.
DeMonte Coxey. He 7 receptions for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Just gonna go out and say it. If it's not SEC, not much hope there.
All right, well, their running back did have 3 carries for 97 yards.
I saw somewhere that he was going off. So. It was one player.
Their running back
that
has been
went
good
off.
this season. It's just he only got 3 carries this week. Another game that I want to go over from last
still
week.
3 carries
Miami
for
and
97
FSU.
yards.
Obviously, what?
Still 3 carries for 97.
Yeah, I know. That's
yards,
what I
and
said.
averaged,
I know.
30 yards
He
a
had
carry.
very low yardage and still,
No,
very
very
low
low
carries and still
high
had a whole
yardage.
bunch of yards. Yeah. FSU and Miami, obviously a rivalry game. Nothing much to say other than the fact that Miami
FSU,
won.
both of them suck. So
Yeah.
say that.
Florida State no longer has a coach.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, got
Yeah.
booted. Also,
hate to see it.
just want to point out there a little rumor I've heard. Florida State is looking at Independence High School's head coach.
Yeah.
Speaking of Independence,
they're also looking after me for a head coach, man.
I'm not. I literally saw it, dude.
Okay, so Independence is obviously in 6A, which is the region of football we play in high school. Stewart's Creek lost to Smyrna last time we saw you, and
Sad.
yeah, it was a sad game. But we're coming this week. We're playing Ravenwood, one of the best teams in the state of Tennessee. Obviously, it's gonna be rough, but what we've heard is that we have faith because our running back Amari Jelks is one of the best running backs in the state of Tennessee right now. Well, he's got over 1,600 yards.
He's close to 2,000.
Yeah, close to 2 touchdowns. Close to 2,000 yards, 18 touchdowns on the season.
And obviously Ravenwood's offensive or running defense is not the best, and they do have 2 5-star wide receivers.
They have 2?
I think, yeah.
No, they have.
Or Brigstall is only a
Brigstall's a
4-star.
tight end, but he's also a tight end.
Well,
He's
yeah,
not a receiver.
It still counts as a receiver.
He's a tight
Throw the
end.
ball to him.
And then Reggie Grimes is a defensive end, but I think he also plays wide receiver.
Yeah, but he's also a 5-star wide
he's
receiver.
also a
He's the highest. He's number 1 receiver in the state of Tennessee
He's
right
not
now.
the number 1 receiver.
Or he's the number 1
he's an
athlete
yeah.
because he plays defense and offense.
I'm guessing their receiver, the Rice commit, I don't remember who it is, but he's probably the number 1. He's up there.
Yeah, but Reggie Grimes he's got like Alabama.
No, they don't care about our high school.
They don't. So anyway.
But yeah.
College.
Back to college. So this week is going to be an eventful week. We've got 2 undefeated teams, or 2 games of undefeated teams playing each other. LSU, Alabama, and Minnesota, Penn State.
I love that game.
So first up, we're going to talk about Vanderbilt and Florida.
Okay, well.
Way to swing
it back
Way to swing it.
Vanderbilt and Florida.
Florida obviously is probably going to win this week, but
I got the Gators.
I'm going to call Vanderbilt.
If you say get out of here.
You're a Vanderbilt fan, aren't you?
I am a Vanderbilt fan. Okay, I have an Auburn hat on. I like Auburn, love Auburn, but I'm also a little bit of a Vanderbilt fan just because they're a hometown team. I have family that went there, but granted, I like Vanderbilt. Florida
has a 98% chance according to
they're
ESPN to win the game.
They're a 26-point favorite.
Yeah.
And there's no way. Vanderbilt is having one of the worst seasons.
Ever since Mo Hassan came in, the team's kind of turned it around.
Yeah, but is he playing this week?
I don't know.
Because he left the Missouri game.
He left the Missouri game because
of concussion, and Neal had to come in.
Okay, you say that he's been playing different. They have 2 wins.
Yeah, they have 2 wins.
They only scored 7 against South Carolina.
They beat a ranked team. That's all I care about. Okay.
They beat a ranked team.
Missouri, but Missouri,
it's a ranked team.
They beat Missouri, and Missouri is 5-3. Their only wins are West Virginia, Southeast Missouri State, South Carolina, Troy, and Ole Miss.
Hey, South Carolina beat Georgia. So technically, we beat Georgia.
Are you using UCF rules right now, buddy?
Yes.
Oh.
If Georgia wins the national championship,
only reason Missouri was ranked was because they were previously ranked.
No, they're not.
They're not making the.
They're not even making the playoffs. So.
Yeah. All right. Next up, so this is one of the big games this week: Penn State and Minnesota. Penn State ranked 4 on the college football playoff rankings, and Minnesota's 17. Both teams are 8-0.
Yeah, Penn State.
I got
Penn State is a 6-point favorite, though. It's only 6 points, and it's Minnesota at home.
But I've got Penn State.
But it's still Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State. Minnesota hasn't had a test all year. Penn State's already beat Michigan. They played Michigan State. Blew Michigan State out of the water, but that's Minnesota. But they blew. They almost blew the Michigan game in the second half. But they went out there and, were 28-7 at half. So, I think Penn State, I'm not saying this is going to be an easy win, but I'm saying that they're going to win the game. They're going to win the game. I'm not saying it's going to be easy.
They have struggled with
some
simple. They've struggled with some easy teams
Yeah,
this year.
that's what I'm saying.
Obviously, it was 28-21 against South Dakota State.
They only beat Minnesota by 30, by 3 points.
By Georgia Southern.
Southern, that's what
I still have faith in Minnesota. What do you guys think? Penn State. I got Minnesota. I don't know. I just like Minnesota.
He's clearly our underdog picker of the week.
Yeah. They're going all maroon. I think they're gonna, and they got golden towels. I saw some of that.
Like the jerseys make a difference.
No, the stadium's going. It's a maroon out or whatever.
Maroon out.
Yeah, they got the Penn State's white out. They got the maroon out, and they're getting the yellow towels.
All right, but before we get to Alabama, LSU, Tennessee, Kentucky.
Okay, all right. I got
Does
Kentucky.
Kentucky even have a quarterback?
No.
Yeah. It's a wide receiver, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a wide receiver, and that's been Tennessee's problem is
Kentucky's
containing quarterbacks this year. But I mean, it's pretty much running. He had 17 yards against passing yards against Georgia.
Like, as much as I hate to say this, it pains me down deep inside. I think Tennessee's going to win.
Yeah, I got Tennessee.
I got Kentucky.
Okay.
I just want
This
to.
man is our underdog.
No, but Kentucky's favored.
They
Yeah,
opened up as a
Kentucky's-
favorite. It went to a
they still
pick 'em.
are.
Now they're a favorite.
They still are favored.
Depending on what you're looking at, from what I've seen, they're a pick. It's a pick 'em or even on ESPN. This is Kentucky favorite. It's what you want.
All right.
I
Well,
don't like-
next up, another game. Baylor undefeated versus TCU.
I'm going
TCU,
Baylor.
it's a home game for them, and TCU's actually favored. But
Baylor.
ESPN says it's a 50-50.
Baylor.
Baylor, yeah.
I think Baylor for the single reason that the TCU doesn't have any quarterbacks now.
I don't
That's
think
what I've heard. I heard they've lost 2 quarterbacks. I don't know if that's their starter or not.
I mean, I think the only reason TCU is favored right now is because they upset Texas.
And they're at home.
And they're at home. But you're
I'm
going up
going
against an
Baylor.
11. What are they? Baylor's 12? 11.
They're
12.
12, I think, yeah.
12th overall in the nation. Baylor 8-0. I don't think TCU has I'm not saying they don't have a chance in this
Baylor's
game,
12.
but I think
I got
they're
Baylor.
not going to win.
Yeah, I think also Baylor has a chance at winning the national championship, or at
Okay,
least, or not winning the national championship, at least going to the playoffs, because usually the committee throws in a.
They have to beat
They're-
Oklahoma.
Yes, that's what I'm
They're not
saying.
gonna
If they
beat
beat
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, they're going to go to the playoffs. I'm calling.
Well, no.
If they beat
it
Oklahoma.
depends on how everything else works out. Because I think right now that
Alabama.
Penn State.
Penn
If they
State,
lose
yeah.
to Ohio State, Penn State will get in before Baylor because Baylor.
True. I see that
Hasn't-
because Baylor or Penn State's had a better schedule than Baylor,
Yeah.
obviously. But
Because
hey,
also
they're a
the
long
Big
shot.
12
If
is the Big 12 in my opinion. I've always said this. Does not have any defense. Historically, has never had any defense to play against. That's one reason why I think Jalen Hurts is tearing it up in Oklahoma.
has never
right
been
now.
able to make it to the national championship in the new playoff forms.
Yeah,
have they?
no, because they've always had to. Well, they did get
They always
close when
play
they
an
had Baker.
SEC team.
Yeah, they did get close when they had
And
Baker.
SEC obviously
but-
has defense.
Yeah, the SEC does have
Georgia,
defense, and
Alabama. I mean,
Big 12 is not used to that.
next up, FSU
wait,
and Boston
also,
College.
I don't want to discredit Jalen Hurts in any way. Is what I said about him tearing it up in the Big 12, but I don't think that the Big 12 has any defense.
They don't.
They
I mean,
don't.
they-
Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback.
That-
He's a
that
good
is one-
quarterback.
That's why Oklahoma's games are always so high scoring
Yeah.
because of the fact that they don't have a defense.
That is one thing I said at the beginning of the year. I said Les Miles is either, in my opinion, going to do good at Kansas or he's going to do not good at Kansas.
What is their record right? Not good, is it?
I know, but
No,
it's
they're like
it's their
4-4.
Well, they
4-4.
did
I think
win.
they have 3 wins.
They
But I mean,
did beat.
I
they
think
did
he's
have
going to
their-
want to bring like an SEC style team to the Big 12.
Yeah. And if he does that successfully, Kansas will be a team to be reckoned with in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Once he gets
Other
all
than
his
in
recruits
basketball, as
Oh,
everybody,
man.
as Baker Mayfield would say. So FSU and Boston College.
Boston College.
Boston
It's going to be a
College.
close game.
No,
it's at Boston
It's
College.
Boston College. FSU doesn't have a coach.
FSU
Next
doesn't have a
game.
coach.
Next
Come on,
game.
no.
Boston
Throw
College.
it out the window.
I'm going to say Boston
Throw it.
College too, but FSU is favored by ESPN, but Vegas says that Boston College is going to win. So,
Boston College.
I
is
mean,
winning the game.
it's a 2.5 favorite.
It's going to be Boston
Who?
College.
Boston College?
Yes.
Yeah, Boston College. I'm.
All right. Colorado and Stanford. Colorado.
Where's this game at?
It's at Colorado. So I think
How's Colorado doing this year?
they're actually not
They're
that bad. I mean,
okay.
they're
Did
like
Did
5
they
and
lose
3.
to? Did they lose to?
You
USC
started
when they played them?
praising them 2 episodes ago. And they lost. They're 3 and
Or
6.
one episode ago. We've
3
only
and
had one.
6. They're terrible.
Okay.
Did
well,
they lose to USC?
No, but they beat.
Yeah,
Who did they
no, they
beat? They
lost.
beat Nebraska. and
Okay,
Colorado
Nebraska's
State.
not good.
And
Nebraska's
Arizona
not
State.
good.
Arizona State was ranked when they beat them too.
I'm gonna give.
I think it's gonna be Colorado. Stanford's not having the greatest season either.
Stanford's kind of fallen like
Ever since
low key
what's his
since
name?
Andrew Luck left.
Yeah.
They've just plummeted. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stanford used to be
it's
one
not
of the best
been
teams.
good. Stanford
in the
used to
Give
be
me
a team to
Colorado.
rec- Yeah,
I'm going
I'll
Colorado
take Colorado
State or
too.
Colorado. So what's up next? Let's see. Tennessee, Kentucky.
We got to- we got to-
Maryland,
Oh.
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Yeah,
I
obviously.
literally
Ohio State.
I don't like Ohio State. Don't like them at all. Maryland sucks. They
Maryland's-
opened up with 2 good like two good, really high scoring games.
Because they played like Davidson or whatever.
Yeah.
No, it was
got ranked. They scored what, like
142
points
or something like that in 8 quarters.
and then they got ranked for the first time in a couple years. Lost to Maryland, or not lost to Maryland, lost to Temple.
Yeah, Temple.
The next game.
Man, Temple is just beating everyone.
What's their record right now?
we should look into Temple. Temple's they're 5 and 6 and 5-3.
Wait. They did lose to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Wait.
They only win against good teams. They beat Georgia Tech.
It's like the Titans.
Their only games So they lost to SMU and UCF, but they beat Maryland, Georgia Tech, and Memphis.
Wait, they only allowed 2 points to Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech only got a safety. Oh. But yeah, Maryland, their average yards allowed per game is up to like 415, something like that. And Ohio State's average yards per game on offense is 514. I think they're just going to run all over them. It's at Ohio State.
Also, while we're talking about Ohio State, don't think they should be ranked number 1. That's just me. I'm an SEC guy.
I'm obviously an Ohio State fan, so
I'm not a fan of either of them, but LSU deserves it.
Yeah,
I do think LSU does deserve it.
I think the one thing that put Ohio State is that they let 38 to Vanderbilt. They let up 38. Yeah. That's the one thing I thought kept them out was 38 to Vanderbilt.
Before. So that was before they went into their stretch of games where they were playing really good teams.
Yeah.
I kept saying this in the beginning of the season when they did give up 38 to Vanderbilt. I was like, LSU's defense is going to be the downfall of them not getting, getting the wins at high state games. But their defense is really
partially the Heisman capability of Ohio State. 3 players on the list. J.K. Dobbins.
Is Chase Young in there?
Chase Young is number 2 on the Heisman watch.
Chase Young, he's a defensive player. He's a defensive end. He's
and
good.
Justin Fields, obviously, sophomore.
Joe Burrow is,
I think Joe Burrow is obviously.
And a lot of people make the argument. LSU has 3 top 10 wins, but one of them's no longer even ranked. Well, if you're going by that,
I think
Ohio State only has 1 top 25 win.
Yeah.
If you're going by that.
But they got Penn State and Michigan coming up.
Those games will definitely...
Those will probably determine whether they stay number 1.
I think the Penn State game is single-handedly... The Penn State-Ohio State game is going to be like the Alabama LSU game.
That's going to be the national championship number 2. Yeah.
Because, Michigan, they did get a big win against Notre Dame, but they've kind of had a disappointing season so far. And I don't think that...
Call me crazy. They had a rough season up until Penn State. Penn State, they did lose by 7. But after here, you can call me crazy. I feel like this may be a different Michigan team. You beat Notre Dame
has obviously turned them around.
Michigan State, Indiana, and then Ohio State.
After they beat Notre Dame, and if they win this week against Michigan State, and next week against
I'm not counting out Michigan against Ohio State yet.
Count them out.
I'm not counting.
I don't think
them
it's
out
going to
yet.
be like last year's game.
I don't think it's going to be like a really hyped game going into it.
It
and
is
then a blowout. What was
it?
It at
the Big House this year. It is at Michigan.
That's all.
So there's that.
It's honestly, I think it's going to come down to how Michigan State comes out of it.
How Shea Patterson plays.
Yeah. So next up, obviously the one that we've been all waiting to talk about, the LSU-Alabama game.
Okay, look, I got LSU. It's not really a personal thing against Alabama.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of. It is. Definitely. It's a personal thing. It's a personal thing, but also I think LSU right now has a better team.
I think LSU is the best team in college football right now.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State is the best all-around team, but I think LSU is the best team overall.
Yeah. Alabama, one thing that will be their downfall in this game will be their defense. Their defense from last year's and years before, their standards for that defense, their defense this year is not lived up to it.
See, the way I take it is if Tua plays, he would probably, I'm not saying probably, he's more likely to get injured this week like it would be next week.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
This is their biggest game of the season.
But historically, historically. It seems like every year we think LSU might get it. Like, this is the year in a while. People
I think
like, this is LSU.
I think this is LSU's
Alabama,
year.
Alabama comes out there. Last year, they skunked them almost.
Yeah.
But, I mean, last year nobody was like, LSU's got this. Like, no, I haven't felt hype for this LSU since they won the national championship. Yeah. It would be such an Alabama and LSU thing if Alabama just comes out and runs the table. I mean, you got arguably the greatest coach of all time.
Yeah, true.
On the other side of the field. So you can't just be like, LSU's going to run this game. This is obviously LSU's game. This is going to be a game of breaks.
I don't think this is going to be like an LSU runs the table here. But I do think it's going to come down to Alabama's defense and how LSU capitalizes on mistakes, or how Alabama.
It's either way. Like, this is the game of breaks. Like,
I think this is also going to be the game of Tua versus Joe Burrow. Well, if Tua plays, that's the thing.
No, I think he's playing.
This is the first game in a while where, in my opinion, it feels like Alabama is like not the underdog. But, like, they're not heavily favored. Yeah. Like, everybody had them in Clemson.
Yeah, it's the first game they played in a long time where they're the ranked.
But, I mean, still everybody had them over Clemson, and Clemson ran the table. So, I don't know. First game in a while, people have, felt like Alabama.
The only stat that Tua has over Joe Burrow right now is interceptions. Tua only has 2 interceptions and 4 for Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, obviously, 30 touchdowns, 2,805 yards. It's just crazy.
Joe Burrow is a monster right now. He's playing out of his mind.
Tua only has 227 yards, 2,166.
Also, while we're on
27 touchdowns, 2,166.
Also, while we're on good quarterbacks, I kind of want to talk about Trevor Lawrence. What's he doing this year?
I haven't heard about it. Yeah,
exactly. Is this the first time that Clemson's actually no? They probably were not in earlier years, like when the playoff first started, but they've never been in the first college football playoff rankings. Like, they're 5th right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were last year and 2 years ago, but I know first 3.
Yeah, they're still undefeated. Yeah. I mean, they are still undefeated.
They're undefeated, but they've had close calls. Lawrence is playing.
ACC is actually not one of the worst conferences, too. I mean, the ACC is pretty tough. All the teams are so close to each other.
It's because they're all mediocre.
Yeah,
that's
mediocre.
what I'm saying. I mean, if you're
I don't think Clemson should get in, but if they do win out, then they're definitely going to get in.
Yeah, I mean, they literally played Wofford last week, which Wofford's only good for basketball right now.
I mean,
Trevor
I'm just saying
Lawrence is not playing good right now. Like, compared to last year, he's not playing good.
But I mean, you also got to look like people won't want Clemson in because they didn't play anybody. But last time it felt like somebody shouldn't be in and they got in. Besides Notre Dame, Alabama did win it all. So I mean,
how do you think Najee Harris is going to do this week? Do you think LSU is going to be able to run over him?
I don't think they're going to run over him. I think he won't have games as good as he did, but he will definitely have a challenge.
I don't think he'll do as good. I mean, LSU is averaging under 100 yards rushing per game.
Yeah, I mean, defense is obviously going to be one of the biggest factors.
What is Najee Harris?
He's got 642 yards and 5 touchdowns this season.
What's his average per game, though?
I don't know. So, while we're talking about this, let's go on to the next game. Another big game for this week, Iowa and Wisconsin.
Oh.
I mean, it's Iowa's 18, 6-2, Wisconsin 6-2, and they're 13. I think it's at Iowa. I don't know. If you want to check that, because I'm not for sure. Iowa has allowed.
This game is at Wisconsin.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But their average yards allowed or touchdowns allowed a game or points. Sorry, their average points allowed per game is 10. That's just crazy. This is gonna be a defense-heavy game. Obviously, Wisconsin, one of the best defenses in the nation right now. Going into the Ohio State game, they were the best defense in the nation, but Ohio State obviously showed them up.
I'm getting Wisconsin. I don't think.
I would go with Wisconsin too. Jonathan Taylor had all the hype at the beginning of the season.
I think
his hype's gone down, but I think
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Iowa's defense average 10 points a game. So I don't think I haven't been able to see what their run defense looks like. But if they're averaging 10 points a game, I'm guessing it's a pretty good run defense and defense all around.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to limit Jonathan Taylor. That's exactly what Ohio State did. They limited Jonathan Taylor and made Wisconsin throw the ball for the most part. And, I mean, they did score a little.
Yeah, but Ohio State's
Ohio
obviously
State
known as defensive back university. I mean,
I think that's LSU.
It's LSU. It's clearly LSU.
Yeah, but have you seen how many interceptions Ohio State has got this year?
But like
again,
DB, like
they played
at least
two top.
maybe
They played
the North
They played 2 top 25 teams.
defensive back of Big Ten.
Or
But
the North,
overall,
at least. But
yeah,
Defensive
overall,
back of Ohio.
defensive back.
whatever.
Of
You
Ohio.
can say what you want.
I'd take Florida over Ohio State at DBU.
Okay, maybe.
They've
All
had
right.
some good defensive
So yeah, what is your pick for the LSU Alabama game?
I got LSU.
I've got LSU as well.
I'll go LSU.
All right, and then picks for Wisconsin and Iowa. I've got Wisconsin. I think my boys at Wisconsin are gonna pull it out.
Well,
Wisconsin.
I think once again, like
Hold on, what'd you just say?
I have family in Wisconsin.
you have family everywhere,
Oh
don't you?
my god.
So
So, like, you're
I have
actually
family-
rooting for
yeah.
Wisconsin.
Well,
as an Ohio State
an
fan.
Ohio State
I'm not
fan.
rooting for them. I just think they're
You
gonna
just
win.
said my boys at Wisconsin.
Yeah, my family wants them to win. My grandfather wants them
This
to win.
guy.
And this is what we talk about. This is what we talk. So,
Um,
you also got your boys in Oklahoma and
My
Miami.
dad went there. My
Indiana.
stepdad went there.
everywhere.
My mom went to Indiana.
What about Ohio State? What's Ohio State?
Band.
Okay.
I went to
well,
all right. I went to
This
Ohio
guy,
State
look at him.
last summer and did some band stuff. It was pretty cool. I got to go in Ohio Stadium. Had to go on
Ohio
the
Stadium.
field.
It's called Ohio State.
I went
Yeah,
for
it
March
is Ohio
Madness
State.
last
Really?
March. And,
Yeah.
Sick.
It is
Nice.
Ohio State. I mean,
I went last March to Ohio Stadium. Dump.
you went in the middle of
Dump.
the winter.
It was March.
All
Or
right.
Dump.
early April. It was
All right.
Dump.
dump. Nobody likes Ohio State.
He went for what game did you go to?
I was up there for my brother,
Oh,
but
yeah.
March Madness just happened to be up there
Oh yeah.
in Tennessee and Iowa.
Oh,
Also-
yeah.
Also, so going back to the Iowa Wisconsin game, never made my pick.
We're all over the place.
Oh yeah,
people.
What
Sorry.
is
Never
what is
made
your
my pick.
Hey, that's what we wanted.
Yeah,
we wanted
never made
y'all.
my picks. So, I think that if Iowa's defense comes to play, they're gonna win the game. But if they don't, Wisconsin I think is gonna run over them. But right now, and it's also because Wisconsin defense is really good. I think it's gonna be a stalemate. But I ultimately think Wisconsin's gonna win the game because Wisconsin has a good defense. Iowa has a good defense.
Yeah, I think the 10 points allowed per game. I think that's gonna.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be like that. I just think it's gonna be 10 to 7.
Yeah,
It's
not
gonna be really low
not
scoring.
gonna be low scoring.
All right, we're back. Had some technical difficulties. The camera decided to cut off as we were about to be done, anyways. But we just wanted to go over a few things about. Obviously, we want to talk about the college football playoff rankings this week. Ohio State number 1, LSU number 2, Alabama 3, Penn State 4, and we got Clemson, Georgia, and Oregon.
I feel like they got it right for what it is. We're still 5-6 weeks out.
Yeah.
I feel like they got it right. I mean, you
Yeah,
could argue
you could-
LSU in there.
Got robbed. Maybe.
Ohio
You could also say some can get moved around a little bit, get tweaks, but I mean overall, good start.
This is the
College
first
football
time
playoffs.
Ohio State's ever been ranked number 1 in the college football rankings.
But
so-
also, the
it's good for
initial
me.
number 1 team has never won it.
I know, but hey, it's the
Yeah.
first time for Ohio
Hey.
State. It could be different because of that.
Good for LSU.
Yeah, they're just
Um,
watching out for LSU.
Yeah, they're just watching out for LSU.
So another thing I want to add,
It's a conspiracy.
we've got
Just kidding.
a bet, me and Parker,
3 weeks away, 3 or 4 weeks away.
Vanderbilt and UT. The winner of the game, I have to wear a UT jersey if UT wins, and he has to wear a Vanderbilt jersey if Vanderbilt wins. So you'll see how that works out in a few weeks. I will definitely keep you all posted. UT's favored.
You sound a little nervous there.
Uh,
I have full confidence in the Vols.
yeah. All right. So we've also got a possible guest.
Got a special
coming up.
guest. Can't tell you who.
We're not going to say who, but
Can't
we
tell
will
you.
give you a hint. It's
One word,
Hockey.
hockey.
Yes, hockey.
Gonna be a
Um,
lot of hockey talk.
We're going to talk
On
about
that-
the Predators, obviously, because Predators are best, obviously.
Predators are
Number 1.
goated. They're 4, aren't they?
Well,
Like,
they're
in the
number
power
1 in our
rankings.
hearts, okay? Number 1.
4 in the power rankings, number 1 right here.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
As well, would you guys like us to make a social media?
My vote is yes.
I don't have preference.
he doesn't have a preference. We're gonna put a poll right up here.
Here or here or here.
Probably
somewhere where we
point. Screen right here.
All right.
Probably.
So yeah, we would love to hear your voice.
Input.
I would probably all of us will probably throw something in on Instagram about it if you guys want it. And last but not least, video games. So
oh man,
we've all been playing NCAA 14 a lot.
I'm 2-0.
Every time they come over, we end up playing on my PlayStation over here or Xbox.
And I still have yet to get a ranked team, and I'm 2-0. So the way we pick teams is we call it a suicide. You get 3 randoms, and you choose from those 3 randoms. But if you don't like any of your randoms, you get 1 more random. But you have to stick with that. They somehow always get a top 25 team. I have yet to get one, but I haven't lost.
I ended up playing as
right now.
number 5
last time we
Stanford.
recorded this,
he was losing.
It was
Parker was
49-41.
yeah.
I'm Virginia Tech. He's number 9 Clemson. So we're going into the 3rd. As of right
going
now,
into the 4th. As of right now, game's tied.
56 all.
56, yeah.
Lucky breaks.
Let's just talk about your picks though. Every time he hits random, he got Rice, Toledo, and
WKU,
Western Kentucky.
the Hilltop.
And he got so lucky that he got Virginia Tech
On my suicide.
on his second
I just
one,
also would like to say it's probably the programming.
It's probably
I
just because of the
got
fact that he's
Clemson,
playing
and
as
I picked Clemson.
Yeah,
And then he suicided to get Virginia Tech.
yeah,
I
but
think it's
it's
the
a close
programming.
game.
It's rigged.
But yeah, we are definitely gonna look forward to maybe trying to get some of that put into our show.
Yeah, we're gonna update you on who wins.
Yeah, we'll update you on who
definitely
wins.
update it.
I'll also keep update and somewhere on the screen of who's number 1 in picks right now and stuff based on.
You're number 1, right? I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about mine until the day of, and there were 2 games in.
Yeah, we'll talk about the picks from here, but we'll also talk about the ESPN college pick'ems. Right now, I'm number 1. I have 70 points. Parker's
like 60.
Yeah, you have 67. He has 64. I'm in the lead because I'm the best. I always take them risky.
I was literally winning. I was winning until last week.
Yeah, he was winning till last week, but I mean, we kept it tied pretty close a lot. And Parker over here is kind of.
And we'll also give you updates on our weekly NCAA ranks, or records.
Yeah.
You're 2-0. I haven't played a game.
I'm 2-0.
Yet, so.
Yeah.
He's 0-2.
Also, we want to start talking about college basketball because that obviously just got started recently.
My opinion, best time of the year is November. A lot of people argue October for baseball.
No.
October, November, December, any of them, I'll take them.
Yeah, anyway, give them to me. I'll take.
So yeah, see you guys soon. This has been the Wolves Lounge.
War Eagle.
Peace out.
Go Vols.
H.
Yeah, that's how you know. That's how you know you have a bad school is when you don't have a slogan. Not a slogan, but a catchphrase.
Go Bucks. I mean,
The Vols, man.
War Eagle.
See, we're the best because we have the
Anchor down.
V-O.
Yeah, anchor down.
Heck out of here.
VU.
Get the heck out of here.
And see what I'm talking about? See,
The anchor's
outta
up
here.
and has an Ohio State.
Okay, you know what?
Go Vols.
Go Vols. Go Vols.